good. It worked. Make sure the name's correct. It is. Okay, and... Hello and welcome to TRPG, the talk show, which is what Darby? What are you doing? Which is what started the channel. We started off with a talk show, so we are super excited for today's guest. But before we get to that, we first need to ask each other some questions. So Darby, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking a nice hearty cup thing of water.
Fantastic. Stay hydrated. Hydrate or die straight. And today I'm having the Friday afternoon collab with Snowbright Studios. This is Harvest Fire, and it's super fall, and it has glitter, which I can never get to show up on the camera, but there is glitter in my cup, and it makes me very happy. So yeah, what are you up to tabletop role-playing wise?
A lot of stuff. So Tuesday, you can find me on the First Watch YouTube channel. I'm playing Peony. My definitely only an artificer, definitely not a ranger at all. Halfling, who is doing stuff and things and trying to eat as many pastries as halflingly possible. Wednesdays you can find me on Girls Run These Worlds, Roll for Luck D&D game, and you can find me this Wednesday, but every other Wednesday on the Neon Lights Roleplay channel, playing in the Stardust Ghost Mechton Zero game, where I am definitely not playing a murderer. I have not killed members of my platoon. And then lastly, on Weave the Tale, where I'm also the community manager over there, you can find me playing in a sleepaway game. We just did our first episode. It was super fun. There's definitely not scary stuff happening. And yeah, our kids are all definitely healthy and alive.
Sure, okay.
No ghosts.
Unlike Darby, I am super not busy. I have no games that I will be playing in on the horizon. Hopefully something will be happening in November. We shall see. I am producing some stuff that we can't talk about yet. Except we do have Max's Monster Hearts show that has not been named yet because we just got all of the players involved, and we're really excited about it. It's going to be really fun. So if you like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, definitely check that out because it's gonna get messy. Also, in other news, I will be at Big Bad Con at the last weekend of October, and I'm doing a panel at Geek Girl Con, so I will be there as well. So if you want to see me in person, that is the place to go. I know, I'm so excited. I can't wait to go to Big Bad Con. There's so many people I want to meet and hug, and it's going to be wonderful.
Oh, God, I'm debating going so hard. It's in my state!
You gotta drive up at least to see me.
I can certainly try.
You can certainly try. All right, so do you want to introduce our first guest?
Yes, our first guest is April Raygun, the co-founder of Slady's ATL and a TRPG content creator, and also a friend. We played in a game, and also April ran a level 21 job for...
we have played in game.
Yeah. Two, in fact.
This is when post-production inserts the game, right?
Yeah. Insert game here.
I am not that fancy. There's no post-production here.
Shit, we're live. Hi!
Hello.
Hello.
So, welcome. So the first thing we ask every guest is, as we opened up, what's in your cup?
My cup is, I'm very lazy today, so it is very cheap tea that is non-generic grocery store brand black tea. Because I'm fancy.
Nice.
I mean, your cup is very fancy.
My cup is very fancy. I also realized I put too much in it when I emergency ran to refill it, and am now going to set that down because it's in my lap, and that's not how we need that to happen.
Just take a couple of seconds to let that cool off. You want to be in tip-top shape for this interview?
Okay, so you remember when we were trying to get new emotes? And I was like, what do you want your new emotes to be? There should have been a pun emote for you. The ones that we picked are not the ones we should have done.
I need a Darby pun emote.
Okay, but the crunchy one, one is great, though.
It's pretty freaking cute. Our emote person is like, adorable.
Chew on this dice. Look at that. Okay, but so we've played in games before, yes. But I would love to hear, how did you get into TTRPGs? And if it's not the same story, how did you get into streaming said tabletop RPGs?
So TTRPGs, I wasn't into them as a kid. I had some like weird experiences. They weren't fun. But then as an adult, I had some friends who were playing Vampire the Masquerade. And they're like, hey, you're a weird goth kid. Do you want to be a weird goth kid and pretend to be a vampire? And I was like, yes. It's what every weird goth kid wants to be asked when they're like 19. And then I kind of stopped playing for a while, moved to Atlanta, and met my friend Nikki, who is the co-founder of Slady's with me. and she kind of adopted me and dragged me into a bar one day, like, we're gonna play D&D.
Yeah.
And we got along and we started playing D&D, and then she's like, let's do this thing. And I was like, let's do this thing. Yes, different Nikki. Nikki, the Wigged DM on Twitter. She's the other co-founder of Sladies. And COVID happened. We were in the middle of planning our second charity event and decided to do it online, and then kept doing them. And somehow it stuck. And now I'm still here.
You were forcefully adopted by someone going like, yes.
Yes, I was forcefully adopted into D&D by a very strong, loving woman.
As it should be.
Yep. I was also adopted into playing tabletop role-playing games by someone who's just like, yeah, and now you're here. I think this would fit you.
It did. It really did.
Yeah. But speaking of things that you do on the internet, Sladies is one of them, but we also know that you are the diversity advisor for Gehenna Games. So here at TTRPG, we try to make our channel a place where marginalized folks can feel comfortable playing tabletop role-playing games. And I would love to hear from you as, the diversity advisor at Gehenna Gaming. What do you think makes a table safe for marginalized people?
I think the first step is to create an environment where they can thrive and flourish and ask questions. And it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of talking, getting to know people. One of the things I like, and I think is really important when we cast games and stuff, is I don't just cast someone because their name is cool or something. I like to talk to them. I talk to the DM first, get an idea of what they want, then talk to everyone that we are thinking about. And then we start doing other things like, what if we get these two people to chat, and let's see if the vibe is good. And it's just all about putting the work into me. Oh my God, Kat, sorry.
Show us the boy. Look at the baby.
She grabbed
I would like to see the baby.
She grabbed the blanket on the other chair and was like trying to drag it onto my lap while pulling herself off of my lap. Sorry. Very important, serious question. Yes, it's just you've got to put in the work. You got to put in the work to make sure everyone feels safe. And because a lot of my first experiences in TTRPGs wasn't a safe experience, and because Sladies was like gung-ho and dedicated about making sure that we make a safe place for pretty much anyone non-cis white guy, we put in a lot of work and talked to a lot of people, and just kind of was like, do I feel safe? If there's any reason I don't feel safe, I'm not going to bring someone else into that situation.
Yeah, and we love that. At my place of work, we also try to, because I work at a game store, right? Historically, not a very friendly space for people who look like us. And so I'm like, we love that work. So
or when they are friendly, it's for the wrong reason. Because like in my experience, the guys that like played Magic the Gathering and D&D at my school, they were nice to me because they wanted to date me, and when they couldn't date me, they stopped being nice to me. So so it's like historically they're being nice for the wrong reasons.
Yep. Or like you clearly don't know what you're talking about, sweetheart. And I'm like,
I get that so often. I managed a video game store. People are like, oh, you don't know about video games. I'm like, I just be like, I have a higher gamer score than you. I know this. I don't need to prove this to anyone. I know my number. What's your number? Oh yeah, go away.
Oh babe, I am a gold. I can basically carry you in insert Riot game here. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. But speaking on Gehenna Gaming, October is around the corner. Spooky season is upon us.
Yes.
What kind of spooky offerings does Sladies, ATL, or Gehenna Gaming have coming up in October?
So October is the Sladies anniversary. We actually are on a break right now because Sladies is going through a rebranding. We love Sladies. We love our Slady Scouts. We love our name, but we've been talking and we don't think that is inclusive enough. So Sladies is going through a whole reconstructing, rebranding to make ourselves even more inclusive. And so hopefully we'll have some announcements coming out about that soon. We can announce our new names and stuff, and our new people in charge working on stuff. We have some new game ideas that I actually need to talk to some of you about. I just remembered that. Sorry, I need to make that note was somewhere else to the side. Always working. That is what we do.
And that disconnect was like, yes, this is, and then I remember this thing. Like,
and with Gehenna, we have some new games coming out. We have some new offerings. Some of it is still, I have to wait till they announce it online. I can't just announce everything, even though I want to, as I'm getting messaged for some reason. Okay, I think I need to stop talking.
Whoops.
I'm also very bad at keeping secrets.
About streaming live.
It's like, I'm getting told to shut the fuck up.
Everyone knows that if you get me talking long enough, I will never go into crime with me. I will rat you out in a heartbeat. Have you seen that
TikTok where it's like, everyone was like, oh, my friend wouldn't lie for me because they're like a good person. And it's like, no, my friend wouldn't lie for me because we're neurodivergent. We didn't know we were supposed to lie.
Yeah.
Like, I would intend to lie to you, lie for you to help you. But if you get me talking long enough, the nervousness and the weirdness comes out. And I'm just like,
I'm very excited. I'm like, I'm like, yeah, everyone knows this. This is basic. Like, if I've realized over time that because I have had a low sense of self-esteem, I devalue like everything. So I'm like, if I know it, then everyone must know it. This is like basic everyone knowledge. And then it's like, no, accidentally spoiling a lot of shows because I spoil shows for myself. But I'm like, everyone knows what happens to Game of Thrones. Nope, apparently not.
If someone tells me, that means everyone knows, right? Because everyone knows I can't keep a secret. Why do they keep telling me these things?
Right. I'm like, I was also talking, I recently learned how to play poker. Like, I've never learned how to play poker. I didn't know anything, but my coworkers were like, what the hell? What do you mean you've never learned poker? But I was like, yeah, because I don't have a poker face. I it's like a negative poker face. Like, someone came into the store that I recognized, and I did not a double take, not a triple take, but the world's most obvious quadruple take. As this person, like, I greeted them, and then I turned and I went, you look familiar. And then I looked back, and then I looked back. I'm like, you look really familiar. Look back. What? To the point where they saw me do that. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I know who you are. And I would have rather pretended that I didn't know who you are so that you could pretend that I didn't know who you are. But that's too late. My bad.
I feel that deep in my soul. Big events like PAX and stuff, or like any convention where like a lot of people, my brain just will defuse and just stop working. So there were multiple occasions where like, your face, I know it. We did a thing and you know this person. I can't, and I would just run away. I would just like literally just turn around and just walk away because I was like, nope, there's no saving this conversation.
Oh God.
Like, well, you could be like Darby and D's Nuts Brennan Lee Mulligan.
That's true. I did D's Nuts Brennan.
Darby has no fear.
Or a lot of fear, and I still just spat it out anyways.
I think it's a good mixture of both.
Yeah, it was I got a couple people at Gen Con with that too. That was the other thing. Conventions, the disconnect between somebody's Twitter handle and then somebody's like seeing them in the meet space, that was so confusing. I followed Cleric on Twitter, and I know Cleric through Josephine and Scary Dog Friend. And I had met and had several conversations with him before. He was like, yeah, my Twitter handle is like Cleric34. I'm like, that's who you are. Like, yeah.
There was a couple occasions of that and the whole, in my brain, everyone is the same height because we've all been in the same boxes for so long that I'm just like, why no?
As a short person,
to be level.
As a short person, it's always so interesting and weird to like walk up and be like, oh, you're a full foot taller than me.
Everyone thought, this is a call out to Milan, my partner, Mallard Man, everyone thought I was like 4'5" because of the way that Milan keeps saying like, oh, you're so short, you're a shorty, like a little short partner. And everyone's like, you're so much taller than I thought you would be. I'm like, well, I am average height. I am 5'5" internet. Like, I am a perfectly average height, but because of Milan, everyone thinks I'm short.
It's fine. I'm with you on that 5. No, I'm 5'4".
Yeah, I'm
I lie
5'3".
sometimes. I say I'm 5'5".
The five something squad, you
Yeah.
know, like everyone else thought, but everyone thought it was sub 5 feet because of how he speaks about me.
My little lady. My little
My-
lady at home.
Yeah, it's because he's so freaking tall. He's
That's
really
so, like
tall.
that's the thing. Like if I saw you guys in public and he's tall, I would it would blow my mind because I've seen it in the box, and so I wouldn't think that that Milan was tall.
Mm-hmm.
Milan's also so soft, like the way they talk. So like
He's so big.
yeah. So like I'm always that would be weird. Anyway, maybe we should ask another question.
Alrighty.
It's fine. Let's just judge heights now.
This is a channel full of neurodivergent people and queer people, so all the weird shit we do is fully acceptable here.
Yep. T-Rex arms all the time. I got called out at work for this one because I was just walking around like this, and they're like, "Why are you walking around like that?" I'm like, "Boss."
What? Okay, that's really funny because I recently got called out because I walk around with my hands in my sweater, and I'll just like start swinging my sweater around my hands, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing. I am a grown adult with a professional
as an adult
job
who teaches children and recently did the in front of them, relatable.
No one can tell that I'm neurodivergent. I mask so well. I love that sound on TikTok. But let's shimmy and Jimmy all the way to our next question, which you and I remember when Mr. Tom did an absolute metric ton of damage with an astral fish. We did a one shot. But
he haste the monk and then he crits.
He haste the monk and they just do a crap ton of damage all at once. But you gotta tell us the story about how you did 11,264 points of damage in combat. What the hell? How did you do that?
It was a very I for one shots especially, I tend to min-max to the extreme. Actually, I don't even know why I said what. I like to break characters. I do it a lot in other games. If you give me like we played, that doesn't matter. I like to break characters, and if you give me a piece of paper with these 3 things, I will try to find a way to put them together to make the most horrifying monster possible. So we were playing Tunnels and Trolls, and I was a level 2 wizard, which with that you have a 22 intellect, and there is a spell that takes 6 mana points to cast, which then does your intellect worth of damage. So immediately 22 points. Mm-hmm. There's no defense. They can't stop it. Well, when you level up the spell, the points of damage is exponential. So it doesn't just it's not just 11 or 22 damage every time. It's just, it doubles and then doubles and then doubles and then doubles and then doubles. When you then specify and build your wizard in such a way that the 6-point spell now only costs you 1 point because it has to mandatorily cost you 1 point, and you have 10 points of spell to cast, I then decided to pump every point of magic I had to see how high I could get it. And we did. So that spell to the 9th degree is 11,264 points of damage. And then my wizard passed out and my wand broke.
You cast power word delete. You were like, goodbye.
What has happened is the bad guy. The game is supposed to be very deadly. We were supposed to die a lot during this game. None of us died except until they killed our Sir Bartlett, our very old knight, 1 mission away from retirement. He had he would forget. He had no memory of his life and would only get glimpses of it during a battle or when he sees a flower. And it got us all very emotionally. And so when his character went down and we had a chance to run, I was like, no, I specified to build this character to do one thing, and that is put out as much damage into one shot as possible.
Yeah.
And then I did it.
they just faded into dust. I can't.
I was kind of concerned that I was going to kill everything in the room as well as the room.
Was this like an AoE sort of spell?
The benefit of this, it aims at only one target and only one target only.
Nice.
One of the weird and cool things about tunnels and trolls is when something does damage, it can go across the whole party. So if something does 22 points of damage, everyone in the party could opt to take some of the damage and lower it. With my specific spell, it only targets and hurts one thing.
Interesting.
Which is the only reason the building survived.
That is wild.
Little personalized nuclear weapon. Just like, this is, take that, have fun.
Yes. But it's one of those things that you have to build your character in such a way and take X amount of things that does X amount of stuff. And I was useless for everything else. Like I built this only to do one thing.
Nice. All my characters are built to do goofy ha-has. And then sometimes they do damage. As it turns out, Rangers hit for a lot of damage.
They do. And you get some cool spells that help with that.
Mm-hmm. People are sleeping on Rangers. Y'all should play Rangers more. I think they're pretty neat. Not that I've played a Ranger. I don't. I play an Artificer.
You play a troublemaker is what you play.
I play Troublemakers. Yeah, she keeps eating stuff, kind of putting stuff in her mouth. She probably shouldn't, but
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's a way to figure out what something is. Oh my god, what if you cast Identify with your mouth? That's funny.
Well, you'll be fun because you have to have
it's not after dark. I cannot make those jokes.
But you have to have a gem worth 100 gold or more to cast Identify. Yeah, I was about to say you have a little stud piercing, and you just go like, the mouthfeel of this object.
I hate this character, and I now need it in a one shot.
Yeah. Oh god,
they're a beholder. Oh my god, it's a beholder, so they don't have hands. So they have to put it in their mouth.
They have to put it in their mouth.
Oh my god, we were talking about, or put eye to eye. We were talking about idioms that worked recently, and like the kids don't get them because idioms are weird. And I was like, okay, but eye to eye, when you're seeing something eye to eye, are you actually putting your eye on someone else's eye? And the kids were like, no, that'd be gross. I'm like, exactly, that's an idiom. Anyway.
You have an idea of what an idiom can be with that example now?
Yes.
That was a sentence you just
said. For the one child that knows what a beholder is.
Alrighty. But speaking of characters, we talk a lot on TTRPG about how the characters we play have allowed for us to explore our identities. Is that something that you have experienced as well?
Yes. I play a lot of queer characters. I play a lot of ace characters, which kind of helped me explore when I was really trying to figure out asexuality and what that meant for me, as well as what being queer meant for me. And then I get to do this cool thing now is I make the joke that all of my characters are Asian. They're all Korean. They all have some level of Korean in them.
Yeah, they're all
I don't
Asian.
care.
That is powerful.
A friend of mine was like, you played a pug. I'm like, yes, and pugs are Asian.
So like,
and this is a pug.
I witnessed this moment once where Honey and Dice was on a one shot with like Draconique and all these different people, and Honey specifically said, "My character is black," and the look of joy on Drac's face, where it was like, yeah, my character's black too. And so it's really powerful to make that decision and then to make it like very like, yes, I'm saying it out loud because everyone needs to know. But anyway.
Well, it's funny. I had to make that a conscious decision because I was playing at a home game Vampire, and it was everyone at the table. There was nobody white at the table. And the storyteller at one point was like, "Are all of your characters white?" And we just looked at each other like, we wanted privilege. I don't know what to say. We didn't think about this. Yes, we all made white characters to protect, because being vampire was bad enough. Mm-hmm. And so ever since then, I've made a conscious effort. All of my characters are Korean, and I've gotten to play some really cool things lately, like Fables and something else that I just blanked on, where I got to bring a lot of like my Korean heritage and explore some of that and tell some of those stories that are important. And that makes me really happy.
We just did a one shot here that I was in. That's Joe, Scary Dog Friend, ran for Nine Heavens Press.
I know, I saw it. It was so good.
Which I
cried when I saw. I cried when I saw it because it was you guys represented really well. So thank you for that.
I just found my cousin's name.
Like, Our first show.
That's the
on
problem,
this-
is I always have to make sure I'm not stealing a family member's name when
Right.
I name a character.
I did it on purpose.
Our first show on this channel was an all Latine stream of Pasión de las Pasiones, so it's kind of like a tradition here to like just do all blank casts because, like, I don't know, I'm just tired of seeing white dudes play games on TV. So...
Yeah, that's the reason I'm still here and the reason I started.
Same.
Yep. It's nice to be able to, like, there are always people who will be able to sympathize with you over certain topics, but it's just nice to always have people. It's just like, you don't have to explain this shit. It's like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And sometimes,
That means a lot. And
Yeah,
it can be felt through characters and through these games. And like I said, I saw the table and the game that you guys made for that, and my heart, like, I cried a little. I was like, it's so beautiful.
And it's gorgeous. And I love that they made they've had these little placard cards that had made them in Korean too. And so like I'm like, I've been trying to get my mom to play like role-playing games forever. And this is probably gonna be the easy way to be like, all right.
Yeah. This is the one I'm going to
my
show her,
God.
be like, look, what I'm doing isn't evil.
Yeah. She bought a Korean like D&D player's handbook.
Aw.
But
Wait,
also
make those now. Oh no, I need to get one for my mom.
yeah, and my mom was also like, I don't like reading and this is boring. I'm like,
You know what? My mom would do the same thing, but at least that. See, then you get the points for trying, for getting
Yeah,
the
the
book, and I know
effort,
that's almost more important than them
Indeed.
reading the book.
I played D&D with my dad. My brother GM'd it, and then I played with my dad, and we played D&D, and it was so much fun. We did it on like Christmas, and it was the best. I loved it so much.
My dad was a nerd growing up. He used to play D&D, and so when he found out, like, as an adult, he found out one day that I played D&D. He's like, "How dare you not tell me?"
That's the best outcome
Mhm.
of being like, I could have been there the entire
I could have been showing
time.
you this the whole time. But then my dad was also the one who taught me how to play Magic the Gathering as a child.
Tight.
But the way he taught me is he took all the good cards and I only had the bad cards. And so I learned how to play Magic wrong, and badly.
Oh, did he keep the good cards?
Yeah,
though?
he kept them. He had the best deck.
Oh, tight.
What a
He made sure he knew how to play. But
Yeah, and the deck is probably worth like $3,000 now.
yeah, I don't know where it is. He has it hidden. He has all his like magic stuff hidden somewhere.
Oh.
I'll find it one day.
Yeah, dig it up, sell it, like sell or keep it. Because like, man,
I'm gonna
those
sell
cards are.
You can't use them to play
ex-
anymore. I'm gonna sell them.
Tigers though, Tigers are like $300. Right, yeah, which is pizza cardboard, sell for so much money. Why? And I'm still hooked on that game. But so I have our last question for you, April, as
Okay,
I
I'm
move
ready.
my hands around as a totally a neurotypical person would do when they're talking. Epistrano.
Yes.
I love Lynn's art. Fucking stellar. Literally my background for my computer right now is the
Hire
art that
Lynn. Lynn is amazing.
Lynn is outstanding. Her art for
Is that
Arabella for
Gremlin
Kingsguard.
or a different?
Yeah,
artist?
Gremlin.
Gremlin
Yeah.
art,
Oh my
yes.
god, I just did a commission that I can't release yet from Lynn, and I will show I'll show it to you guys after we're done here.
Lynn,
Lynn's
I'm just gonna
fucking
turn this
dope.
into a commercial for Lynn real quick.
Mhm.
I want you to know Lynn did the art for Ampistrano, Strixhaven, and Redwall for me. The two horrifying sentences that make no sense and the random bullet points that I sent Lynn, that she created some of the best art I've ever seen. Lynn is a wizard. Lynn has magic. I don't know what Lynn does, but Lynn could do anything.
Yep. Lynn is just out fucking standing. But
Sorry,
So-
I got
no,
distracted.
yeah. If Estrano looks really, really cool, because thanks to Lynn's awesome art. But do you want to tell us a little bit about Epistrano?
Yes, Ampistrano is on Saturdays. It was created by D&D Jordan Lee, who is a phenomenal storyteller, creator, writer, gamer, everything. Hire Jordan too. I love Jordan so much. And I play the monk and fairy. I am a fairy monk who is also the tallest in the party, because in our world, fairies don't get to change size until like level 10. It's something fairies are just normal people with wings.
They're
And
fairly normal.
I'm fairly normal. My character's kind of rude. She hits people with her wings all the times because she does not have any sense of self. But we
She's
are
just winging
playing
it.
Darby.
Darby, I miss you. I miss you every day. Every day I miss you. And right now we're investigating this mystery at this college school area. The cool thing about Ampistrano is in D&D, you have a lot of crystals and shards and gems that are always supposed to do stuff and have these powers, but you never really kind of learn why or have a deep reason that they do things. You're just told that a crystal can do this. But at Ampistrano, each of those do special things. We've just recently found out that there are crystals that steal fairy magic and your spirit. So now I'm paranoid of gems and crystals. But it's a really interesting world that we're still learning a lot of things about it. But my character, she is a fairy, and the fairies help shepherd people to death. So she's kind of like that weird peppy goth kid who's like, death is cool, y'all. Like, why is everyone sad that this person died? They're just going to the next part of their adventure.
Oh my God. That was for the hottest of hot seconds. I was playing on our channel. We had a Percy Jackson Demigods game, and I was playing a child of Hades who was also very much like, yeah, this is like, she was very peppy, very clumsy, and just like, yeah, this is, or she was gonna be like, this is how things happen. Paleos.
I forgot that you did that because we also did a Demigods Percy Jackson game, and I need our Percy Jackson games to beat each other because I played the daughter of Lysora, so I was a trickster god who just lied about everything and just like, this is not my problem, and just would walk away.
Have you ever played with Vin?
Vin Vox VA is one of my favorite people in the entire world. They're one of the Chthonic kids. We've done Hades High School, Camp Half-Blood, Strixhaven. We're now doing Good Society, and we're almost done with that, and then we'll have Dimples and Dice be running a game. We started playing Hades High School together. Bully from Table Goth got us together in a random group, and now we have made a pact that we each have to run a game for the group. And once we're done with each of us running a game, we're repeating them because we're never separating.
So
I loved it. That was that whole thing to say.
Vin played a trickster god kid and was so freaking funny. Vin is the most, like, one of the most fun, like,
he's a monster,
naturally funny, and just like,
no, don't say nice things about it. Vin is a monster. Vin has hurt my heart.
No. So okay, so we were playing a Haunted West campaign, and we wanted to bring another person on, and Christina, who ran the game, was like, oh, well, what about, Vin Vox? And I was like, can Vin do serious? Because I've only seen Vin do like funny and like trickster characters. And sure enough, Vin brought it and was actually like this really solid preacher character that we needed in the cast. And so yeah, so Vin's just really talented. But
I just would like to say, wait till Good Society. You will no longer love Vin for being a good person. Vin is a monster. Vin broke my heart. They all broke my heart.
So you're supposed to do on that show, though.
Yeah, there's actually a picture that came out. Vin got commissioned of Vin's character, Bully Table Goth, and Wes's character in a kind of scandalous picture that was based from our from our Good Society game. So if you want any idea what it's going to be about, just look at Vin Vox's Twitter and look for that picture.
Nice.
And that's going to explain the game to you.
So April, do you have any plugs that you want to get out there before we switch over to our next interview?
Plugs. I think I said a lot of them. Ampistrano's on Saturdays. Good Society for the Chthonic Kids is coming out soon. Sladies, we're going to have some more information. We're doing I have a lot of stuff. I wrote them down, but now I don't have the thing in front of me. North by Northwest. We have a new season with a new DM and a new cast. Dimples and Dice is coming in and leading the North by Northwest podcast in our first actual play as well as podcast with Scum and Villainy, and that will be out very soon, and that's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me. This was a lovely conversation, and I love you both so much.
And to see your cat.
Yes, your cat, the baby.
The baby.
Alrighty. Now to introduce our next guest is we have Jen Vaughn. Jen Vaughn is a game designer, cartoonist, and cheese enthusiast. So this is this cheddar be a good interview?
Oh my!
We gotta keep it going.
It better be a Gouda interview.
It better be a Gouda. It cheddar be a Gouda interview.
Darby, you better believe it. It is gonna be good.
Ricotta gotta have a good energy for this.
As a lactose intolerant person, I feel, no, I'm just kidding. I'm good.
Well, I am lactose intolerant.
I am lactose intolerant. Does it stop me from eating cheese? No, it does not.
I do forget that dairy products do in fact contain dairy. So there are many times where I'm like halfway through a chocolate shake, I'm like, this has milk in it, doesn't it? And Milan is just like, how this cannot be humanly possible.
It's called a milkshake.
And I'm like eating cereal. Oh, this is milk, isn't it? Like
No, Darby, I used to be vegan too, so I have a lot of good cheese recipes that don't have milk. If I can send some to you, because they're delicious. I still make them, so still good.
Yes, I was vegan for a long time as well, and so yes, there are very delicious things out there you can make. So what's in your cup tonight? It's your night.
Tonight?
It's our afternoon.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Yes, it's early. I have it's a herbal tea with a lot of strawberries and apples. It's called Summer's Night, actually in French. So it's a Nuit de Tête from Sostren Green. It's the only local place I found that has loose leaf, because unfortunately I moved away from Seattle, Washington, where Friday afternoon tea is, and so now I have to like buy it in like packs and bully people to send it to me. So but it is very good. So
that's awesome.
There is that. So
so how did you get into TTRPGs?
I was I'd been playing board games my entire life. I had played D&D in middle school for like a hot second, and I was like, oh, this isn't for me, but it was very much like chainmail bikini stuff. And so I sort of made my own type of role-playing game using the Piers Anthony fantasy series. So like Xanth, yeah. So it's also like very sexist too. So I was like, looking back on it now, I'm like, great. But yeah, eventually I started playing D&D with some friends that like, hey, let's play. And then I'd met Kat Kruger via Twitter, and we were like co-working and friends, and like then we were like, we should do a podcast. And so then we started D20 Dames, and that like my character there was my second character ever, actually, my first one. So
you jumped right into streaming right around pretty quickly after you got into TTRPGs.
Yeah. I have a radio background. No, my dad was in radio, so I was like, I feel, and like, I don't know, like natural storytelling at some point, like you're like, okay, let's speak in third person so people will understand what the character's doing. And I think we just had some attention to auditory detail because we were either snobs or couldn't listen to certain things because of the audio issues. So, when there's like a consistent beeping in the background, you're like, oh my God, please.
When somebody doesn't change their batteries in their fire alarm. And
okay, we must have been watching the same stream one time.
I was like,
and they're like, no big deal. And I'm like, it's every 2 minutes. It's like setting off.
I was like, I will send you
my skeleton.
Like, do I need to send you batteries?
Oh God. There's like on TikTok, like there's people who like record like, oh, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy or something like that. And then there's this one person who just had a fire alarm. It beeped like every minute on the dot. And everyone was like, please fix. All the comments were just, please fix your fire alarm. Please fix your fire alarm. Please fix your fire alarm.
Like quality of life. Like, how
I don't know.
What do you do when you sleep?
I am not one of those people who can block out noises. Lights and stuff. I will sleep with the lights fully on in the daytime, like totally fine. Noises, and if I'm moving slightly, like it drives me nuts. It drives me insane.
Yeah, definitely. Oh.
So, you just moved to France. How's that going?
Oh, as you can see, I've got all my furniture. So no. It is going well. I've been here like 2 months. I moved for work, and all I had was my cats and like 3 suitcases. So hopefully I'll get some more stuff soon. I think I'm experiencing that little like small depression that sometimes people feel when they move to a new place, when they're like, do I go out? Or like in this case, there's also a language barrier. I studied Spanish and spoke Spanish for most of my life, the wrong language for France. So
right.
Yeah, but it's the food's delicious. There's I am right next to a small TTRPG library and gaming place called Epile. So I sent them an email recently. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a group. So like I'm excited to like go in and look at all the French TTRPGs that are out here and start to translate them.
Right, that's so cool. Well, and all your food pictures, I've been very envious. The food looks so good. But I felt that way before because you did a lot of cooking on your like Instagram and stuff, and so I've seen you like the food that you make always looks really yummy too. So it's just like
food motivated person.
Hunger traps.
Sorry.
No,
content
motivation.
I like food. You're totally fine. We love that. So Fables looks really cool. For the audience, can you explain what it is and what subscribers receive if they join like the program?
Absolutely. So Fables from Ghostfire Gaming is a really cool subscription service for people that have an ongoing or want to have an ongoing game. So you receive basically a month's worth, it's per month, and you receive a month's worth of RPG material, or sorry, Dungeons and Dragons, 5th edition. And it's currently, what's happening is it is Fables 2, Pirates of the Ethereal Expanse. So we just released month 3, but you can go back and get the previous months. And so you can play for basically 6 months. You have a campaign that's set out, and it's created by a bunch of people, a wild group of people. The current month, it's all connected though, of course. The current month was by myself, Kat Kruger, and Sarah Madsen. And it is a wild journey down below around the creation of a certain merfolk and and like going through their beautiful and terrifying like old dilapidated castle. So if you're like, if you're into mermaids of all colors, like Fables 2, absolutely. And it's a I don't know. Also, if you like pirates too, I guess, obviously, but like you get to like, we have like ship stats. So you have like your little battles on your ship, and like you're also like in the ethereal expanse. So the ethereal sea. So there's all this like gorgeous, like these otherworldly creatures and things, and like certain people, the people that are actually born from like the souls that become new people there, like they can't even touch the ethereal water for very long, or else it'll reabsorb them. It's a beautiful, like, I want to say like a sea goth type story, and it's wonderful. So
I want to play that. That sounds like so much fun. So D20 Games has been around for a really long time, like compared to like a lot of other indie campaigns and that sort of thing. What do you think makes for your longevity?
Part of it was we were mostly, I don't want to say we're mostly friends first, but like Kat and I, Kruger and I met up, we've been working together for a while. And then I knew Brittany Lee Leonagay through her partner who worked at the comic store I go to. And then we met Jess at PodCon. But part of it is like, I think we approached it sort of as a business, which sounds a little gross, but like, we're just kind of like, hey, we want to do this thing, and we want to make sure that like people get, paid for their time, and we are lifting up voices of everyone. The cast is predominantly people of color, except for myself, and so it's very much about intersectional feminism, and then making sure like the guests that we bring on are paid and also represent like a good demographic, and like also making it more accessible for kids. So we're I think the thing that like, regardless of being old and ancient and like dust in the wind, but we're family friendly, which there's not a lot of, because so we get a lot of like emails from parents with their kids. They're like, oh, we love listening, which is like great, because they're like, we can, even though they still let their kids watch the certain big shows, and I'm like, oh, they're learning a lot of words and things that are
right?
A little much. So but yeah, it's I think it's just like, we have like a business meeting too once a month, or almost once a month, and it's like different than the regular stuff, like, so and then we have like a fun like hang too. So like we'll watch a terrible movie together, or we'll craft something. So a little harder because of COVID, and then moving around. So yeah.
I remember when Jess applied to do our Starship Troopers game, and I was like, are you sure it's gonna be rated R? Are you sure? And they were like, yeah, like I normally am on a kid-friendly show, but like I totally want to do this non-kid-friendly show, and it was very much not kid-friendly. But
Yes,
I
it
loved
was
them.
beautiful.
I loved playing with them, and I loved the character that they played. It was so much fun. But yeah, so like, it's good to know. It's good to have that in my back pocket when parents ask about role playing games, because like my kids will express interest in D&D, and at the end of the school year I will actually teach them how to make a character as part of like a writing unit, because it is absolutely so hard to get them to do anything the last 2 weeks of school, especially fifth graders, because they're like, I'm going to middle school, I'm hot shit, and I'm
I'm
just
the
like,
big kid now.
I'm like, you're a baby. Like, I know you're taller than me now. Like, I always have like 3 or 4 kids by the end of the school year are taller than me. But yes, I'm like, you're still a baby. But yeah, so we do that, and that gets them like, that keeps them engaged in something. And they're still learning. They're learning skills like building a character. They're learning that, like, how to write a backstory and how to read information and calculate your points and all these different things. And then I show them D&D Beyond, and they get mad at me that I made them do it the hard way. But I'm like, D&D Beyond is blocked on your guys' computers.
Oh my
blocked
God. Then
on
they're
your
like, you're holding the
computers.
trolley switch, Nikki.
Right?
Whatever.
Oh my God.
So like they got so mad at me about it, and I was like, you guys, it's blocked on your computers, and this was better than not doing it, and I will tell your parents about the website so you can do it at home. But yeah, they're it's so much fun though. And like fifth grade kids have like the most fun little brains. They come up with the best ideas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's always good to have like that friendly like that kid-friendly thing in my back pocket for when they start expressing interest in gaming.
Oh, thank you for hand selling it.
You bet.
Sorry, we're gonna say Darby.
I was gonna say that D&D Beyond also, like, you can Google all these stuff, but unless you like own all the stuff on D&D Beyond,
Expensive.
really expensive. And I definitely don't know anybody who had bought all the classes and sub races on D&D Beyond and has a master tier subscription with 115 characters just sitting there gathering dust. Don't know anybody who does that.
I feel like this is very pointed and
Not at all.
It's not
at
me.
all.
Is it you or is it Milan?
Both of us, actually.
Oh no!
there you go.
All right. So speaking of my students, I actually have Download and Die in my classroom. My students love it. So you write graphic novels as well as TTRPG modules. What is the most fun thing that you've written, and what has been the most rewarding thing that you've written?
The most fun thing I've written. Dang. I mean, so Goosebumps Download and Die was a lot of fun, but it was it's writing with the most restrictions ever. Like when people are writing TTRPGs and they're like, oh, you have to keep it to the OGL, the Open Gaming License. I can't mention Greyhawk or use I'm totally blanking on every monster in the world now. I almost said the Babadook. Can't use the Babadook. Anyway, but like you get it.
You can't use the Babadook.
yeah. We also can't use the Babadook. But it's like with licenses, it's like they're like, okay, you can use X, Y, and Z. Also, we don't like the color purple during these months. And it's like, it gets wild. So it was a rewarding experience because I got to bring some like Goosebumps style story, like YA middle-age horror to the forefront and like put in gay characters and have representation and stuff. Like yes, and like girls who like tech and stuff, because I even made like a mini mobile game in the book. I was like, please let me make this game, but it didn't happen. And so yeah, I think that one was one of the most rewarding ones to work on, or it was like a recognizable name too for Goosebumps, because then kids are like, oh, okay, I can trust your horror, which then led me to like, now I'm working on other, horror stuff, which is fun. For TTRPG modules, I always think the one I'm working on now is the most exciting one. So I'm finishing up one with Jess Ross, who was on the Starship Trooper show, and then Cage. Rage Cage Rugger, who works for now One Bookshelf, and we have a cool a stitching themed supplement. So like, if you're, the patron of Joanne, and all that stuff. So sort of like, because it all like kind of combined our interests, and we actually started pre-pandemic, I think, and we're like, oh, finally we'll finish it. But like, it's been fun to like as the evolution of our friendships happened, it's been like, oh, okay, and now we'll add this and that.
That's
It's
so
not
cute.
so.
Oh my God.
It's I think it's so good. Darby, it's gonna leave you in stitches, okay?
Are you threatening me?
I am. Don't get your sweater in a knit.
Oh
Almost.
my God.
Well, needless to say, it's going to be something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. You will. You'll
You
get
guys
a.
can't see this, audience, but April is full face palm.
April is loving it and saying more, please. More.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not spinning a yarn for you. You know, this
No,
is just the
God.
truth.
These are pearls of wisdom coming out of our mouth. I don't know
Oh
if
my
anyone knows
God.
knitting here.
Oh boy, I just punched my desk.
Oh no.
Someone had to pay the pun gods. Thank you.
True.
They're punishing me for this.
Oh my
They're like,
goodness gracious.
they're like a pound of knuckles, please.
Mhm.
Okay, so how do you pick the books that you are reading for spooky seasons? Because you've been like sharing different books that you're reading for spooky season, and they look really freaking cool. So where do you get your ideas for what to read?
A variety of places. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And of course I can't remember their name. But there's someone on Book Riot who also used to write for Book Slut. So, you know, that's the kind of stuff I like to, or the critical reading that I like to do, which is very good. Who shared their spreadsheet of all the stuff that they read every year. And they like, you know, they have like where the authors are from, what if it was a fiction book or nonfiction, if it was audio versus you know, paper book or a Kindle and all that stuff. She was a woman of color, and she was like, I'm also trying to read, you know, less white men. And I was like, hell yeah. So I started doing that like 4 years ago using her spreadsheet. I should really remember her name. I'll tell you later. And because of that, I think it's changed the way that, and again, unfortunately, having also worked in publishing, everything is racist, and it's all like built on the backs of patriarchy. So it's like even if the books get published, it doesn't mean by marginalized voices, it doesn't mean they'll always be like, you know, interviewed for or put on the end caps and all that
Like
stuff.
the
So some of it
isn't always great.
exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is looking for, I mean, again, places like Book Riot and not BuzzFeed, but not a Toptic. Oh my God, Autostraddle. They always have really good lists of non-cis white dude books to read for every season. And so I go through that. I will go through some of the books on, there's a Mallory O'Meara, who's a fiction writer, and Bria Grant, who's a movie director, have a podcast called Reading Glasses. I'll also go through their horror stuff usually because they read voraciously as well. So I'll grab some from there. And then I usually would go into the library and ask. Not something I can do in France as easily. But I mean, I can, but they'll just be like, oh, here's a book in French. And I'll be like, oh shit, oh merde. So yeah, it's been a mixture of all that. And so some of the books I'm reading are like brand new, and then some of them are like a couple years old, but I haven't, you know, read them or hadn't seen them. So it's been a lot of fun. The first one was White Smoke by Tiffany Jackson. Beautiful book about a family who half the family is white, half the family is black, got together, and now they're moving to a new part of the country together as well as a non-nuclear family. And oh man, that book left me in shivers. I think it's beautiful. Also, the main character had a traumatic experience with bed bugs, so it's like very much part of the Anyway, sorry, I'm talking too much. Anyway,
No, you're not. You're a guest
check it
on
out,
a
White
talk
Smoke.
show. You're supposed to talk. Again, we are all neurodivergent and queer here. No, there's no such thing as talking too much. So okay, for those of you who are watching that needs like the kid-friendly equivalent of the kind of list that Jen was just talking about, A Mighty Girl is a website that does girl protagonist led books, and you can organize it by like age and reading level and award winning, and this one has queer characters, this one has people who with disabilities, this one has BIPOC people in it, and that's a great website that I use all the time to make sure I'm balancing my read alouds, because I do a lot of read alouds, and so like I definitely like to make sure that I do that with the kids books as well. All right, so with spooky season, it's almost October. Do you have anything fun and exciting going on in October for spooky season that you can talk about? Or are you going to get a text message as well telling you to shut up?
It's too late / too early for anyone to text me about that.
If you turn off your phone, they can't text you.
That is a great, yes, absolutely. They cannot text you. They're not going to come and chat. They're not going to bust up this vibe. For spooky season, aside from reading some books, let's see, I do have every first Friday of the month on Roll20. I have a show called Fiasco First Fridays, and we play a different play set, and we have on a different set of people to keep it fresh and, show off all the great people in TTRPG, video games, and comics. If you haven't played Fiasco, it's rules light, GM-less. You're basically just role playing, and then you get a couple of prompts. The math is so minimal. Like, you don't get into the double digits. That's how much math there is. It's like single digits and colors. That's how the math works. It's beautiful.
I love structured make-believe with my friends. That's all I want to play is structured make-believe with my friends.
Yes. Then you should definitely play Fiasco, or I should have you all on. Actually, just April, breaking news, April Raygun will be one of the guests on October 7th.
We know her.
Yeah, Friday, October 7th. So we haven't announced it yet, but if you're here, now you know. And we always do like a Halloween themed one for that. So I'm very excited because it usually means we have a murder rule too. So we always have to double check with everyone though in our safety stuff. Like I'm always like, you can murder me, that's fine. But everyone else, I'm like, how grisly, we could just become a ghost, et cetera, et cetera. So I am trying to plan a surprise party for someone at my work, but I'm afraid they might be watching. So their birthday is not in October though. I think that's the other thing, but
it is a month in the year.
Yeah, it is a month in the year, but it's around a certain thing they like. So if I describe it anymore, it will be very obvious who it is. So that, I guess,
so nice
planning surprises for other people, trying to find pumpkin. There's no pumpkin patches in France from what I've been told. So.
Oh no. Okay. So is there anything else you would like to plug? I know you've got a book that can be pre-ordered. I saw Took was one of them. Right?
Yeah.
And then
Took and Girls Make Movies.
What's the other one?
Yeah. Girls Make Movies. It's a choose your own path style book about getting more women in film. So like whether it's special effects makeup or like grip work or sound editing. And it's also written by Mallory O'Meara from the Reading Glasses podcast. And I did the art for it and it was super fun to do.
Is it kid friendly?
I'm sorry?
Is it kid friendly?
It's kid friendly. Oh yeah, it's middle grade. Yes. Middle grade appropriate, baby.
That's my class. Some of my students, there was a kid that hated reading, but he loved video games. And I was like, oh my God, have you heard of Choose Your Own Adventure? Because it's like a video game, but it's a book.
Yeah, it gives you agency to flip through pages.
Yeah.
You're a smart teacher. That is beautiful.
That's the best part of teaching 5th grade is that they, as a geeky adult, they like the same stuff I do. So I use that to my advantage. Okay, sorry. So Took, I already forgot the name of the something movies.
Girls Make Movies.
Girls Make Movies. I'm
in another podcast called it's on the Crows Codex if you look for that on Twitter. But it is a Ryutama adventure. So if you've ever played that game where it's like Studio Ghibli, so it's much more about it's called Poison of Prophecy. Sorry, I was burying that lead, but it's much more about like the travel and the coziness. So even though there is like some sad stuff happening, it's a cozy vibe. And so that one will be our season 2 will be starting soon. Anywhere where podcasts are free.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. It was great to have you.
Thank you all.
And let me just transition us back over to me and Darby for the outro. I remembered something we can plug. now that we know who's going to GM it. So while we were in the green room, I had an idea, and so we will be doing a one-shot of Monster of the Week on Halloween, GM'd by Scary Dog Friend. It's going to be a cosplay stream, so definitely tune in for that because it's going to be really fun and super cool, and like all of our shows are. Darby's on a shit ton of stuff, so make sure that you follow Darby because she is very busy being a menace everywhere she goes. Darby, is there anything in particular you want to plug?
No.
All right. If you would like a smooch from me, you can eat the head off of a tulip, or you can buy me something off my throne wish list, and if we meet in person, I will give you a smooch. If you don't know the tulip story, next time we hang out, make sure you ask about it because it is quite fun. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you on the internet.